you about with West Virginia and TCU, two winners who came to the conference. You're doing pretty well to recruit. How do you think the vision and recruiting for Baylor will change, or will it be the same? Your concept, you and your coaching staff.
By those guys coming into the conference, you know, first of all, I mean, you get the key word on. They're both winners. Both those universities have won a bunch over the last decade. West Virginia and the Big East, TCU and the Mountain West. So them coming into the conference and affecting recruiting, you know, TCU's been recruiting in Texas, you know, forever. You know, they're a Texas school. So I don't see much change in that. They might elevate their level a little bit by being put in Big 12, you know, next to the name as opposed to the Mountain West because of the, you know, first of all, major conference, and secondly, by being, you know, more regionally located. West Virginia, you know, with some of their connections with Dana being from, you know, coach at Texas Tech, Houston for a while, and then Eric Slaughter, who's the guy I actually hired, you know, back in high school years ago, was on my staff at the University of Houston, has some, of course, from here at the state of Texas. They'll try to get the state some, but, you know, we just have to wait and see how much effect it has nationally or with our Big 12 conference.
We have a question on the outside right.
Kelso down at the Stadium, Kansas Star. Coach, I'm curious, how important do you see a new stadium at Baylor being to sustaining some of the success that you have?
Well, to ask that question so calmly about a subject that's so exciting in Baylor, I admire you. You did your excitement well, so I wish I could hide mine that well, but it's a big time deal now. I'm not kidding you. It's going to change the whole image of Baylor. I mean, to people that never really considered Baylor for now on the next 50 years. I mean, there's 42 million people who drive down I-35 beginning in 2014 that are going to see this beautiful stadium, which is going to be one of the most beautiful stadiums in the United States of America, on the Brazos River, and they're going to look over there and say, okay, those people at Baylor are doing it right, because it's going to be unmatched in beauty, and what it's going to do for us from an image standpoint, recruiting standpoint, both academically and athletically, for people who want to come get into Baylor University. I'm not smart enough to articulate how much difference it's going to make for our university, but it's certainly a great vision, you know, by our Board of Regents and alumni, without question. It's something that's a need as opposed to a want, and those are big differences.
We have a question in the middle, and then we'll go to the outside.
Art, Tim Griffin with the San Antonio Express. You guys had a pretty good quarterback last year, and also a pretty good running back in Terrence Ganaway. I wonder if you could talk about trying to fill Ganaway's void with the backs you got on hand, and maybe where also a Shakespeare from fits into that.
Yeah. You know, we had 5 guys drafted off the offensive side of the ball last year, which is the most out of any university over the last 30 years. So we've got some holes to fill. We understand that. The great thing about Terrence Ganaway is we sat here a year ago, and if I said Terrence Ganaway is going to be all Big 12 and rush for 1,600 yards and get drafted next year, everybody thought I was crazy. Okay, because he was an unknown. He wasn't a guy that was returning that had a lot of yards. He had about 400 total yards at Baylor University prior to last year. So that's the great thing. You know, if we've got some guys on campus that we feel very confident in to carry that role on, that's going to be a little different because Terrence was a different guy. He's 246 pounds and could run, and was very hungry and had a great vision and a great faith and passion last year. But we have Jared Salubi, who I think is going to be an outstanding back that has a lot of the characteristics that we look for in a running back, and that he can catch the football, he's able to make guys miss in space, and he's big and strong enough to be powerful inside. He's 212 pounds. Glasgow Martin's a guy that's a downhill runner. It's about 222 pounds that will just smooth run over if he gets the opportunity. If you're in the way, something's going to happen. You know, either side of the ball, somebody's going to be happy. We hope it's our side that's happy, because he's going downhill. And then Lake Seastrunk, who you mentioned, you know, transferred in, set out last fall. I mean, he is a very dynamic player that has 3 years left, that we're anxious to see what he can do when there's people in stands hollering, because he's got ability, and ability is certainly something that's hard to hide, and we're gonna have him open up the jacket and let it show.
Question on the outside right?
Coach, Sean,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Coach Sean Clark, the K-State Collegian. Obviously last year you had a Heisman winner. How do you plan to replace Robert Griffin? I know, will your offensive scheme see any sort of significant changes, or do you think your quarterback can just kind of keep up the tempo? And how do you adjust to not having maybe a player that will garner that type of hype?
How do you just not having the best football player in the United States of America last year, Cleveland level? That's inspiration, okay? That's the thing that inspires us. That's the thing that makes our guys come together and fight for each other and work to prove themselves, because we're in the proving business. You know, we're not in the business of getting close and saying maybe and gosh, I wish. We're in the proving business. Our job's to win football games. So what we have to do is figure out ways to fill in the gaps, because Robert created a bunch of gaps. You know, his ability from somebody else's is a big gap. We have to fill that in with a variety of different methods, schematically, personnel-wise, and motivational-wise, and inspiration-wise, that'll give us an opportunity to stay at the level that we finished at last year.
Got a question in the middle?
Art Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. I asked you last year about Robert's impact away from the field, and you said he's done a lot to help you build this program. Now that he's gone, what kind of things will you have to do to replace not only the physical ability that he brought, but also, as far as recruiting is concerned, the perception that Baylor football is on the way up?
You know, say we're gonna the football field deal. It's a done. Okay, we got to do that. Now the other part, we're gonna live on that as long as we can, and rightfully so. Because I mean, when I talk to recruits, they're not asking about, you know, Coach, how you doing? Boy, you know, sure would like to come visit. They're saying, hey, Coach, tell me about RG3. You know, let me know how's he doing, how's he going to be, how's he going to do in the NFL. You know, so we're going to continue that, and by him being at such a visible spot, you know, with the Redskins playing in the NFC East against Dallas, which everybody's familiar with around here, the New York Giants and Philadelphia Eagles. So his name is going to stay hot through this area, and so we're going to continue to thrive on that, because it's something that he earned and that we earned as a university, and that players respect, and they do respect the impact that he's had off the football field as well.
We've got a question right here in the middle, and then we'll go to the back.
Jason Kersey from the Oklahoman. With the Big 12 adding TCU, does that put programs like yours at any kind of disadvantage when it comes to recruiting the Dallas area in the future? You know, a kid can play Big 12 football without having to even go as far as Waco.
What? No, I mean, really, one of the toughest things I had to do when I was coaching at the University of Houston, okay, for 5 years, is to get the players to stay in Houston. Great football players. I think it's the most ever recruited city in the United States of America. But it's hard to get those guys to stay home, because when you were 17 and a half years old, 18 years old, I mean, you were thinking, boy, if I could only live next door to mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, no, those guys want to get away. You know, and Waco's a perfect location, because it's an hour and a half away. It's far enough away, but it's close enough that they can come see them and they can enjoy them at the same time. Good question.
Good question on the inside left.
All right, John Warner, Waco Tribune Herald.
What's up, John?
Doing good, thanks. Do you expect to see considerable improvement from the defense this year? And what did you see in the spring that maybe thinks that will happen?
You know, 2 or 3 things, John, defensively. First of all, when you're in the Big 12 conference and you're on the defensive side of the ball, it's a tough league. And I mean, stats don't lie. I mean, you can bring them however you want. You can make them good, you can make them bad, the same stat, depends on which side of the ball you're looking at. But they don't lie. They're fact, they're reality. This is a tough offensive football league. It was a year ago. The thing we looked at from our defensive side of the ball, first of all, I have a tremendous amount of faith and confidence in Phil Bennett and our defensive staff and our players on that side of the ball. But our last 6 games, where we went 6-0, which, by the way, is the longest win streak in the United States of America, FBS, which shows you how hard it is to win games at the end of the year. Our defense made critical plays at critical points of the games to help us win the football game. So when we got in the dressing room, we weren't saying, oh, I want to do this many points, this many yards. We're saying, hey, did we make a critical play at the right time to help us win this football game? Is this a happy locker room? If both those answers are yes, we moved on to next week. So our guys are going to be more experienced. You know, they've made plays at critical times of games to help us win, and they've been in the system a year longer. So, yeah, we expect to be better, and we expect to be better on offense, too. I mean, you think we're going to walk out there and think we're going to be worse? Either side of the ball? I mean, we're expecting to be a better football team this year than we were a year ago.
We're going to take questions about halfway back on the right.
Bryce Cherry, Waco Trib. Coach, the last.
You guys can't talk to me in Waco? Okay, all right, we'll meet in Dallas more often.
The last few years, you guys have put some offensive linemen in the NFL, and I just was wondering if there's a guy on this team that maybe has that potential. Is it an Ivory Wade or?
You know, good question, Bryce, and I appreciate you bringing it up for the fact that it gets me to first of all give Randy Clements a lot of credit, who's our offensive line coach, has been with me since 1990. You know, he does an outstanding job. We can go back to the University of Houston. We were there. We had Rex Hadnot, who's still playing in the league, Sebastian Bomber, who we recruited out of Germany. When we got him, couldn't even speak English. He was the 52nd pick in the NFL draft. You know, probably going to end up being an all-pro for New England. And then since we've been in Baylor, you know, Jason Smith, the number 2 pick in the draft. Philip Blake goes in the 3rd round this year. Danny Watkins, 23rd pick of the 1st round a year ago. So we've had some guys that have come out and done well. Who do we have this year that's going to be the next? You know, Ivory certainly has a chance. You're talking about a 4-year starter to play 2 positions in the O-line. You know, which he's got the ability, he's got the genetic makeup, you know, mentally that he can do the job, and he's a guy that's a next-year player. Now, right now, what he's concentrating on is making that first good snap against SMU. You know, it's because that's where his mindset's at. All that other stuff will take care of itself tomorrow if you take care of it today.
Question on the outside left.
Gerald, Sports Radio 1340, Lubbock, Texas. What, you talked about RG3 and your lineman, how deep is your receiving corps? Because you had a first-round pick there, too.
Yeah, I mean, we've been very fortunate with receivers also, and not that we're talking recruit, but since it's brought up earlier, you know, we did have the number 1 receiver taken in draft in Donnie Ager at the University of Houston. David Geddes was actually a draft choice we've had in Baylor. Kendall Wright, you know, went the 20th pick in the draft this year. We have some great guys on campus, you know, and that's the great thing about it. We're very deep at receiver, as is everybody in the Big 12. I mean, everybody in this league has guys that can make plays at the receiver position, but we fortunately have stockpiled a little bit to where we have, you know, 4 or 5 guys that we have a lot of confidence in Terrence Williams, Lanier Sampson, Levi Norwood, Tevin Reeves, Clay Ford, Antoine Goodley. I mean, Jonathan Lee. We got some guys that can make plays and they're players. So I'm anxious for them to have the opportunity to pick up the slack where Kendall left, because you're talking about 1,550-yard receiver last year, which, you know, by the way, was the most anybody had in FBS, you know, last year.
We have a question on the front, and then we'll move to the side.
David, and
You don't have the camera on yourself, or you going solo today?
the amount of transfers that you brought in, is that something you emphasize, or what kind of role do you think those guys are going to play on this team?
Talking about transfers, you know, I mean, if a guy can play, we're going to look at him, you know, without question. I like getting guys that are mature. You know, not that 18-year-olds are not, but when you take a guy that's been through a few trials and tribulations and understands what's important, what's not, and has experience, because there's one thing money can't buy, and that's experience. You got to live it, you got to taste it, you got to feel it. Then we know what we're getting to. And when you get down to, you know, both feet are standing on the edge of the cliff and you're looking off, and there's a guy with his hand on your back behind you, you know, and you're feeling like, well, if I mess this deal up, you know, I may get pushed. You know, there's a situation there where, you know, when you get toward the end of the road, you're going to hang on a little tighter. And so I like that. I like giving guys opportunity that made it feel like that they haven't taken care of their business earlier.
Hard, obviously, it's going to be quite a challenge to replace RG3, but how much confidence does it give you coming into the season, the fact that you got Nick there, somebody you've replaced in the past, and also came up with a big victory last year for you?
Yeah, great question. And I love Nick Boyce. I love Briles. I love all the guys on our team. They all bring different things to the table. We're not just going to say, hey, Nick, this is you're here for 12 games, 13, 14, whatever it is. You know, we're going to make him earn it. Now, we're going to give him an opportunity early because he deserves that opportunity. The thing I love about it is that, you know, Luke's going out 516 high school, already married, already graduated. You know, the guy's already successful. Regardless of what happens on the football field this year, he's going to be successful. The thing I love about it is that you take all that and move it over here, and then you make the first down consistent. I mean, that's where his passion, that's where his drive is, being a good football player that contributes to Baylor being successful in 2012. I have a tremendous amount of confidence in the passion, the energy, the drive, the fearlessness that he's going to bring to the table for us, because I know it's from the inside out. And I know what how he feels, I know how he thinks, and I think I know how he performs. The thing he's got to do is stay within himself and not get caught up in, you know, listening to anybody else or anything else, and just staying focused in the moment, focused in the situation.
Last question here in the middle.
Jason Hurst from the Oklahoman. With how exciting that TCU game was last year as a non-conference game, is that one you guys are really looking forward to this year, now that it's a conference game?
You know, Jason, I mean, to us, there's no difference between conference and non-conference. I mean, every time you step on the field, there's somebody trying to take a piece of your life away. You know, so it doesn't matter if you're playing, you know, Stephen F. Austin or the University of Oklahoma. I mean, you know, you better go out there and play well. You're not going to come out with a smile on your face. So it's not a deal where we point at this game and say, boy, that's a huge game. You know, we got to win that game. We're not saying that. What we're saying is we got 12 games. We're going to play this first one, and we need to win this football game. Then we'll go to the second, and we need to win this football game. Because, I mean, I can't sit in there and tell our players that it's more important to be team A as opposed to team B, or vice versa. Because they're all important. They all matter.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much for your
Thank you all very much.